On this video, I'll be giving you 3 strategies for becoming more self-aware. Strategy number 1 is you have to spend more time alone. How do you get to know other people? You spend time with them. The same can be said for yourself. To become more self-aware, to gain a better understanding of yourself, you have to spend time with self. You have to spend time alone and really make time for solitude. Being alone and being lonely are 2 different things. And I think a lot of times we don't always value our alone time. We don't value solitude. But in order to become more self-aware, you have to spend that time alone. Because now you don't have all the outside noise. You don't have the distractions. And you can really, truly be at one with self. We live in a day and age with cell phones, social media, and those things are designed to take our attention and our energy away from, self and to those devices, to these apps. But in order to become more self-aware, you have to block that out. You have to block out all the distractions and be at one with yourself. That also includes other people. A lot of times, people want your attention. They want your time, your energy. So in order to truly gain a better understanding of yourself, one of the best strategies is to spend more time alone. And I'm not saying don't interact with people. I'm not saying, cut everybody off and just go ghost and never talk to anybody. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying make time every day for yourself. Make time to be alone every day. And that way you can reflect. It's not just spending time alone just to be alone, but spending time alone so you can have that time for self-reflection. Just like in school, the first run through, the first time your teacher give you a lecture, that's not when you learn the material. You learn the material through reflection, through reflecting on what was taught in class, reflecting on what you read in the textbook. That's where you really learn the material. Same thing with yourself. That's how you really truly be able to learn yourself and understand yourself. Is you have to have time for self-reflection. And a lot of times it's best to reflect on your ups and downs, your good days, your bad days. It's best to reflect on these things alone. That way you don't have the distractions. Strategy number 2. You want to ask those around you who know you best to help give you more of an insight into who you are, to what you can work on. What are some of your strengths? What are some of your areas of improvement? What are some things that you may struggle with? What are some areas in which, they believe may be holding you back? Because see, the thing is, sometimes the people around us can see things in us that we can't. I took an art class and the teacher used to say, it's hard when you're in the frame, you can't see yourself. You know what I mean? You can't see yourself when you're in the frame. And that's true with life sometimes. Even there's an analogy, even if you take a bottle of water or a bottle of juice, whatever the substance inside the bottle, you can't read the label from inside the bottle. You have to sometimes step outside and really analyze things without being in the picture, without being in the frame, without being in the bottle. You have to sometimes be able to look at it from an outside perspective. And so that's the value of gaining some feedback and insight from those around you. And that takes a level of transparency, a level of openness that you have to have with that friend or family member or therapist, whoever it is. You know what I'm saying? Even if this includes going to therapy. Sometimes, that therapist can hold up a mirror to you to where you finally can see yourself. But through that other person, you're able to become more self-aware. It may ask you certain questions that go back to making you reflect on experiences, reflect on how things made you feel. And that leads me to strategy number 3. So strategy number 1 is to become more self-aware by spending more time alone. Strategy number 2, you want to ask those around you, including friends or even a therapist, a counselor, a teacher, a coach, a mentor, a pastor, whoever you think can provide some informative insight and feedback. And strategy number 3 is you want to pay attention to your good days and your bad days. Pay attention to your ups and downs, your triggers and your stress relievers. You know what I mean? You want to pay attention. That's the third point, is attentiveness. Be attentive. Pay attention to yourself. I know for me, sometimes as I've grown and as I've gotten older and wiser and more self-aware, I've noticed that sometimes me being around certain people drains my energy. But in order for me to know that, I have to be attentive. So if I come around this person and every time I go around that person, I feel drained, I feel tired, I feel a lack of energy, a lack of vigor, that means, I have to be more self-aware and know, okay, maybe I'll need to minimize my time around that individual. And the opposite is true as well. There's certain people, I may be having a rough day, may be tired, but I go around certain people, now all of a sudden I have more life and more energy. So the point I'm trying to make is you want to be attentive. You want to, sometimes it may be the foods that you eat. It may be the environments, the people. It may be certain music, certain things that can trigger you into feeling worse or feeling better. But in order for you to be aware of that, you have to pay attention. So that's step 3, is attentiveness. Be attentive to how you feel when you're in group settings, how you feel after you eat, after you work out, after you know what I mean, in the morning or at night. Are you a morning person or a night person? Only way you to know that is through paying attention to yourself. That's the key, attentiveness. So to summarize, strategy number 1 in becoming more self-aware is to make time for self-reflection. Make time for that solitude, that alone time that we talked about. That time where you don't have the distractions, the people, the phones, the apps and the TV, none of that. You have time for just yourself, time for solitude, time for reflection. Maybe you can, get your journal out or things of that nature so you can reflect on your day. And one thing, you can do that every day. At the end of the day, just reflect on the day. Reflect on the ups, the downs, the good and the bad. Strategy number 2, as the people around you, use your resources. Therapists, counselors, friends, family, people who can give you that good insight, a coach, a teacher, a pastor, somebody you work alongside, ask them, hey, what are some areas I can get better at? What have you noticed I tend to struggle with? What are some things that, I excel at, and that can help you become more self-aware. And last but not least, strategy number 3, you want to pay attention. Be attentive. Pay attention to your triggers. Pay attention to the things that make you feel better. Pay attention to the things that bring energy, and pay attention to the things that take energy from you. And I believe if you employ these 3 strategies, you'll become much more self-aware. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you would like to see next, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.